What is up guys, Jarv here, back today jumping into Destiny 2. Now in today's video, we're taking a look at an insane exotic farm right on the Leviathan. So if you're still chasing down those exotics and some high stat rolls, then this will be the video for you. Now if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And if you are new around here and want to keep up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 content, be sure to hit subscribe as well. But without further delay guys, let's jump into the video. Now first things first, credit where credit is due, and a massive shout out to Chevy over on Twitch. He's a member of Redeem and has kindly allowed me to use the footage from his stream to make this video. So if you don't follow him already over on Twitch, I'll be sure to leave a link to his channel in the video description below. Be sure to go over and check him out and show him some support. Now to kick things off, firstly, you'll need a dogs checkpoint. Dogs isn't the first encounter this week. I believe that should be next week. So if you don't have a dog checkpoint, you'll first need to get one in order to get this farm to work. And once you have a checkpoint, or at least one member of your fire team does, then you need to load into the Leviathan as you normally would and make your way to the dogs encounter. Now, much like the previous Leviathan farm that we did earlier on the channel, you are able to go out of bounds as a way of saving yourself from doing the Castellum and making sure you can get to the dogs encounter as quickly as possible. Now, if you weren't able to do that, or you weren't sure of the route in order to do that, be sure to follow the route that Chevy is taking here on screen, and that will take you directly to the dogs encounter. Now this is a raid encounter, so primarily you should have a full fire team of 6 in order to do this. There are 6 dogs in this encounter that need to be defeated in order to successfully complete it. However, you are able to run this with smaller fire teams as long as you are well coordinated. A well coordinated fire team can easily take out 2 dogs each, meaning that it is possible for as little as 3 guardians to complete each encounter. And once you've made it through the underbelly, you will need to go about completing the encounter initially as you normally would. There is a slight difference towards the end, and we'll cover that in a brief moment. Now, as I said, if you have a well-coordinated fire team, it is very much possible to complete this with less than 6 guardians. If you are struggling to get a fire team together though, then be sure to use the Bungie LFG, which you can find over on their official website. Again, I'll leave the link to that in the video description below. And if you are on PC, there is also a PC LFG Discord, all of which are great sources to find fire teams. So if you are struggling for a fire team to do these farms, be sure to use those 2 sources initially to help you get the teams together. Now, unlike the previous farm where we were using the ghost and the encounter to farm armor and tokens, we're actually not doing that on this occasion. What we're farming here are the keys for the underbelly of the Leviathan. Now, within the dog's encounter, it seems to drop 2 keys. These are for the Aqueduct and also the Drain. Now, both of these are secret chests, but they also provide guaranteed sources for exotic loot. You get guaranteed exotics for every 3 keys that you hand in. So if you can farm keys, you can effectively farm exotics as well. Now the important thing to note here is that we're not going to complete the encounter completely. What we need to do here is actually defeat the dogs as we normally would, but there is a brief moment where the underbelly key drops before the loot spawns into the encounter. And once the key drops though, you can actually change character to exit the encounter, and what you're doing is you're not actually completing this encounter at all, but you're still getting the key. Now by leaving early though, you are also saving the checkpoint, so you don't need to complete the initial part of the raid if the dogs isn't the first encounter, but also you can skip directly to the dogs using the out of bounds process that we just saw as a quick way of getting back to this encounter to farm as many keys as we possibly can. Now as you can see, it is possible to fill up your inventory with underbelly keys. They don't stack though, so you will need to empty your inventory and use your vault to do that, otherwise you may lose the keys. But once you have the keys, it's a simple process of going and finding the chests. However, there is an optimal way that we need to go about opening these chests to make sure that we're getting the most exotics we can from the keys that we have. Now, if you're not sure exactly the route you need to take to get to the Aqueduct and the Drain in the underbelly, I'll leave a timestamp for the out of bound routes for both of those chests in this video at the end. So if you have the keys specifically for a particular chest, then be sure to check the video description for timestamps to find the optimal route to that chest. Now, the great thing about this farm is that you don't need to keep returning to the chest manually from the start of the raid each and every time. Once you've got there as a fire team and opened the chest initially as a group, only one member of the fire team needs to stay with the chest. Primarily, this should be anyone that gets an exotic from their first key. If no one does, then nominate one person to stay, or the other 2 go to a load zone. And once they return from the load zone, they'll be able to use another key from their inventory to farm the same chest once again. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the most optimal way is that you get 1 exotic for every 3 keys that you hand in. However, if you get an exotic before your 3rd key, be sure not to use any more keys on that chest. You can become the anchor for the rest of your fire team to use until they get exotics from their underbelly keys as well. But once you have exotics though, be sure to reload back into the raid to reset the instance. This will refresh the debuff that's applied to the chests and mean that you can have another opportunity at getting exotics from that chest once again. Now, by using this method, Chevy was able to get over 20 exotics from the 50 keys that he had farmed through the dog's encounter. Now, the exotics that were obtainable were a combination of armor and weapons, with the armor being from year 1. So if you're after a Godroll Dragon Shadow or even a nice pair of Orpheus rigs, then be sure to give this farm a try and get those high stat rolls that you've been after. So that's how we do the farm. As I said, I'll leave the routes to both the Aqueduct and the Drain keys in this video. We're on our way to the Aqueduct key right now, so I'll be sure to timestamp this in the video description along with the Drain later in the video. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a rating down below. That super helps me out here on the channel. And as I said before, massive shout out to Chevy for allowing me to record his stream. And be sure to check his streams out again via the link in the video description below. I'm going to jump back into the game as always, guys, but I will catch you all again very soon.